Hello, my name is Grace Ganel and I'm a licensed acupuncturist in the state of Maryland. I'm also the sole member and owner of Three Treasures Wellness LLC. The music you're hearing in the background is done by my friend Alexander Taylor, also known as the French Alexander. This is his EP Tinnitus, so if you like it, you should check him out. He's on Bandcamp, etc. You can Google him. Anyway, I'm here today because some people have requested that I do a jade roller tutorial. So this is just my little jade roller. I actually got this for free, I believe from Bloom, which is a company that does some pretty cool products. Like I've got a little cleanser that I used this morning, and I also use a facial oil by them, which is specifically for the treatment of acne. So when I got those two things, they sent me this little jade roller. So I give them a little promo because that was free. So I've already cleaned my face and I'm just going to use some of my facial oils that I would normally use in the morning to sort of lubricate for the jade roller. But before we begin, I wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of an anatomy tutorial. This is Netter's Clinical Anatomy. This is what we learn surface anatomy and sort of pathophysiology out of at my graduate school. So I just want to talk about, there's a lot of muscles in the face that contribute to our ability to move around and to our sort of appearance. And there's also a lot of nerves and vessels that move through the face, as well as lymphatic tissue and other sort of structures like that. So I'll be talking about those kinds of things a little bit as we go, just because, like, if you're having facial pain or something like that, I want you to know that there's a lot of sort of nerve attachments and endings in specific parts of the body and the face that if you're having issues and it's really acute, I want to make sure you go and talk to your doctor and tell them that you're experiencing this. And jade rolling might be able to give you a little bit of relief if you are aware of how the muscles might be entrapping those nerves, for example. So that sort of basic structural idea is really important. So some of the big muscles that I want to talk to you guys about today are the masseter muscle, which is if you put your hand on the side of your face and just like squeeze your teeth, you can feel it popping out here. And this is going to be a big one for like if you have TMJ pain, or if you grind your teeth, that's going to be a muscle that's going to have a lot of strain on it. So as we go, we'll sort of focus on that muscle group a little bit. There's also the muscles of the brows that both contract and raise. Right? There's a lot of different movements that we do with our brows. And then there's also this orbit ocularis sort of muscle around the mouth that contributes to these lines, contributes to having a more pronounced sort of pout here, contributes to this if you're doing a lot of like pressing or frowning or scowling, then you're going to get, you can see I focus like that. And so I've got a little bit of that going here, as well as these smile lines, which I'm not that ashamed of course. And overall, shame is not an experience I like to encourage or discuss around my body. It's a little better to just be like, oh, this is something I'm engaging in a lot. And as I use the jade roller, I'm sort of becoming more aware of that. There's also some sort of puffiness under my eyes. So I think what I'm going to do for you guys today is just do like my normal routine, and you can see where I'm at today. I've got a little acne going on, and I've got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Some of the sort of other things that I'm thinking about is like where the channels go. I'm not going to get into that too much because there's a lot of them and they move around a lot. I don't want to confuse you guys too much. Like, you're not trying to become acupuncturists here. But that informs how I decide to do my sort of protocol. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm just going to put a little bit of my facial oils on my face. And because I haven't moisturized yet today. So what I've got here is the oils that I use from Lolly, who you've probably seen advertised. I actually really love them. So I've got a sea buckthorn oil, and I've got a turmeric root oil, and this is going to be for acne. Because I have PCOS, which a lot of women out there have, which means that I'm more prone to acne and also like extra hair and stuff. But acupuncture and herbs keeps me pretty regular, so I'm pretty blessed with that. Okay, so where I want to start is just right up in here. And the channels that I'm looking at here are generally moving up. There's one that's coming down the middle, but we want to take advantage of the capacity for that to move upwards and be sort of an uplifting sort of feeling. So I'm actually gonna start with my little one right here. And if you can see, I'm sort of picking it up. I'm not going up and down, I'm going up, right? So I'm going to start in the middle there, and you can see a little bit of that sort of redness forming, which, you know, the jade rolling is stimulating blood flow and stimulating some of the inflammatory response in the body to sort of get you to a point where your body is naturally bringing some good like collagen and lymphatic flow and blood vessel flow into the area and getting things moving a lot better. So then I'm gonna sort of start making other short little lines, and again I'm still doing this up, up, up. I've moved a little over and I'm going across, and here you have some of those sort of nervous and muscular attachments, so you'll feel a little bit, like I feel a little bit of sensitivity here, and there's a really nice point right there that's called root spirit, and it has to do with helping us to feel grounded and connected to what our purpose is in life. So that kind of thing sort of plays in as I do my rolling. Now I'm in sort of a bigger area here and a larger muscle group, so I'm going to use my larger one. But I'm still doing the same up, up, up. You see? I just want to get through here a little bit. And here's another spot where there's a nice big muscle band moving through here. And I'm still going with sort of the flow of some channels through here. Now the other thing that I notice is I tend to get like headaches right on my eyebrow, right around my eye. So I want to sort of disperse that energy outwards, if that makes sense. So the same way that I've been going up, I'm gonna go out. See that? And this is not a lot of pressure, like I'm just compressing a little bit. You can see I'm not pressing very hard. There's a lot of really delicate tissues around the eye and in the face in general, and we don't want to be crushing things, we just want to stimulate them gently. So I can already see a bit of a difference between the two sides here. Maybe just for your guys' sake, I'll do this one half of my face at a time so you can see sort of what the differences are. Okay, so now that I've done this, there's another sort of piece for me, which is that the channels continue to flow back over the head. So I'm going to carry that just with my fingernails, just backwards through my scalp, just sort of gently brushing through my hair. You could also just comb your hair if you wanted to. And what this does, I'm making sure to get into my neck too a little bit. This just helps to sort of carry the energy all the way through. Okay, now this area I've got a lot of sort of back and forth in the channel, so I'm not going to worry as much about the direction of my movement. Plus I don't have a lot of lines out here. If you do have a lot of lines, I want you to sort of out and up, but I think I'm going to use the little side here. So let's see, out, and this is even more gentle. This is I'm not compressing the tissue very much at all because there's a lot of delicate tissue here and I don't want to damage myself. And up. And here is going to be another place for a lot of people with tension headaches. And you've got a lot of like muscle attachments through here. Out. And up. And you can even sort of combine that out and up. So we're going that way a little bit. And this is the trajectory of that muscle there. So really just following the natural tissues of the face. And then through here I carry a lot of tension. If you grind your teeth, which I do, then you'll find you might have some sensitivity in this area. You might be prone to headaches there, etc. So this is something that, in addition to hopefully making you look and feel really good, can give you some relief from those kinds of symptoms as well. This is where the masseter muscle that I talked about earlier sort of originates, is right on this zygomatic arch, this part of your cheekbone that goes all the way back to your ear. So you'll feel a lot of tension in here if you have issues around there. And you can see a little bit of twitching in my eye. That's because there's one of those nerve sort of holes here. One of the places where the nerves comes out from the inside of the face into the sort of surface anatomy of the face. Because all these cranial nerves are coming from the spine out into the face here. Okay. That's feeling pretty good to me. And again, I've got some channels that are going back, so I'm just going to follow this back over my ear. And I'm kind of going across a bunch of muscle tissues that are going this way. And that's something that people talk about a lot in like massage therapy, is sort of cross fiber stimulation. To me, I'm just following a channel. And this channel actually has a lot to do with sinews and the capacity to move. As well as like decision making and taking things one step at a time. It's a really lovely, it's the gallbladder channel. It's a really lovely channel for sort of awareness. It's the same channel that this root spirit point was on. It's a great channel for issues with depression, mood, and sort of balancing your aspirations. Okay, this area is going to be real sensitive, so I'm talking like the tiniest little bit of pressure here, okay? So I'm really just rolling very gently through here. And what I'm thinking about now is a channel that I know that flows this way. And I just want to encourage any of this puffiness to drain using that natural movement of that channel. Really just the tiniest amount of pressure. And I'm not starting necessarily on my eye, I'm starting right under where the orbit of my eye ends. And you can see the little bit of pressure that I'm giving here. And I do want to go, because I've got this bag sort of here, I am just going to sort of get my nose out of the way and go very gently this way. And then there's a little less sort of channel activity on the nose, but I'm going to go down to the tip of my nose. That's the way that this channel is moving. And then follow the flow of the sinuses. So I'm sort of blending that Western and Eastern anatomical thought to give myself an idea of ease of flow and letting the tissues that are in my face do the work naturally. So I'm thinking about how the sinuses are going to drain, and actually as I do this I'm feeling some draining down the back of my throat. So the sinuses and the lymphatic system have a lot going on through here and then going downwards. And this channel in Chinese medicine sort of represents that activity, that sort of fluid transference and transportation activity. So I'm gonna follow this down that channel, and I'm using a little more pressure here. Down, down, down. There's another nerve port here I can feel as I go over, as well as a lot of the muscles that have to do with smiling. They kind of get tacked on to the zygomatic arch and then to the corner of the mouth. And this channel is going down and then to the corner of the mouth and then back and then up. So I'm going down. And this may support people who are really concerned with these laugh lines. Even though I'm not going over the lines just yet, I'm supporting the muscles that cause those lines to relax and sort of calm down. Just nice and gentle. I still feel a lot here. I'm just going to go up and down in this tender spot for me. See if I can get a little bit to release. And then down again. Okay, so what you can do, like I've got a dimple here, and I'm cool with that. But if you're not cool with that, then you can sort of very gently peel this back, use the little side, and just go crossways across that one. Out, in, out, out, out. You see what I'm doing there? Yeah, so it's a little different than it was before. Still got my dimple. Still pretty apparent. There we go. So those two sides are starting to look pretty different to me. Still got a little bit of this. I'm just going to go back over that. Okay, that's starting to look a little different. Okay, this guy I'm not going to worry too much about. This is just a really natural anatomical spot. There's a few theories about it as far as I know. When I took evolutionary psychology in college, we were taught that it's like left over from some previous primate in our ancestry that would close the nostrils like that. So then this sort of matches this groove. In Chinese medicine, this also represents the uterus and then the fallopian tubes, which is kind of interesting. And then, you know, you think about how these areas change with aging and how the reproductive system changes with aging. It's just a lot of little parallels in the body. It's just a different way of thinking from what we have in Chinese medicine and in Western medicine. So I'm just gonna go a little up and down. A lot of people who like smoke or drink from a straw a lot will get these little lines. So I'm gonna go a little up and down. This is going to be across the fibers because the muscle around the mouth runs in bands going this way. So I'm going across the fibers, but then I also have this function of going out. If you smile so much that your face hurts, this feels really good after. So if you have a big photo shoot, do it before and after. No, I'm just kidding. You know, do whatever you do. Do you. Okay, another spot a lot of people have concerns, especially as we get older, is down here. You know, the sort of like edges of the cheeks can get a little puffy. And again, I'm thinking about all the lymph structures that are in here. You have a lot of like really sensitive spots here, you know, lymph nodes in the neck that your doctor checks out when you go to the doctor. So I want to take advantage of this capacity of anatomy to sort of take any puffiness from here and disperse it. So this is a little counterintuitive if you are thinking like you need to lift things up. Yes, and if there's something heavy in the face, the sort of puffiness in the face, that needs to be removed, and the natural flow of the anatomy is going down into the neck and into the core of the body to be processed by the various lymph nodes, more of which are in here rather than in the face. There's lymph nodes sort of everywhere. But the big ones that you know are like your tonsils and the lymph nodes in the neck and the axilla, the armpit. So anytime that you can get things to move towards those structures. Now, if you are somebody who has cancer, is a cancer survivor, has lymphoma, any of that, I don't want you messing with this. Definitely like talk to your doctor before you do anything like this. Those kinds of concerns, to me, I don't know what this might do for you to spread anything, if that makes sense. So I don't want you to get more mets because of you sort of messing with these channels. I know a lot of Western folks will be like, oh, whatever. Chinese medicine, to me, is just, it's much more moving and transformative than a lot of people realize. And so if you're taking advantage of these structures, then you could be helping a pathogen take advantage of those structures, if that makes sense. That being said, if you've just had like a cold, this could feel really good. So I'm gonna gently go with the flow of this channel down my neck. And I want to kind of get in here. And this one, I think it's okay to go up and down because this is a nice strong structure. But I do feel a lot of those sort of twitchies up here because there are nerves in here, so don't press too hard. Anytime you feel that, just back off a little bit. So I don't want you to compress anything and cause yourself symptoms. If you're compressing a nerve up against a bone, you're gonna get yourself in some trouble. Okay, now I'm gonna switch more to downward and over the edge. And here, these are really sensitive, so like use your best judgment. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it, or at least lighten up and see if it feels any better. So there's a lot of these nerve ports coming through here, so you definitely want to be gentle and just pull yourself over the side. And I don't like to get very close to like there's a bone here called the hyaloid process. I don't like to get too close to that because it's just really uncomfortable for me. But if that feels good to you, you can do that. It's all good. There's a lot of really lovely acupuncture points in here that have to do with speaking your truth if you need to find your voice. So that can be really lovely. I'm just always thinking about my Chinese medical knowledge. It's something that I can't separate from the rest of the world at this point. And I know that I'm kind of speaking in tongues a lot of the time to other people, but it's how my brain works now, so I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to work on that side. I think we're in a pretty good place, don't you? So here's the side I just worked on, and you can see the light hitting it in all sorts of angles if you'd like, versus the side that I haven't done yet. So I need to do the other side this is still pushing this way, but I think after I do that side I'll have a lot better appearance there. But again, for me, this is less about appearance. Look at the difference here. This is less about appearance to me and more about getting a state of health in my complexion and in my face, particularly because I do have all of these sort of acne spots and scars. Again, I'm thinking about the lymphatic system, which has a lot to do with inflammation and infection fighting. And if I'm stimulating that, then I'm giving my body a chance to fight back against this in a way that's really natural and completely innate. So rather than like taking an oral antibiotic or a steroid or using topical steroids or something like that, I try first to do this kind of work and really encourage my own body's like self-healing and self-cleaning mechanisms to take over for my skin. If that sounds good to you, then go ahead, have fun. I think it's pretty challenging to damage yourself with this, but again, it all comes down to like, you don't want to be pressing really hard. I want you very gentle. Think about just how friable these tissues are. They're really small and sensitive tissues. So go forth, Jade roll, and be gentle. Thanks for watching.